Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, Barakadah. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men in great Millstone, who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and in brotherly love. And salutations to the hopeful elect, the 144,000 men of Yasharallah, and the 1/3 men, women, and children of Yasharallah. Shalom. This is your brother Shamya, coming back at you one more time from the great Millstone held in the Montana camp. And we're just going to jump right into it, okay? We ain't going to waste no more time, okay? It's April the 26th, 2026, the year of apostates, agents, and sellouts, okay? I repeat, it's April the 26th, 2026, the year of apostates, agents, and sellouts. We at the end of April. In a couple of days, we're going to be coming into the month of May. We got January that went, February that went, March that went, April that went. Now we're about to come into May. Now, this is the time where everybody start to, start to get their plans together for summer. And, what was this, like this pagan holiday coming up, Memorial Day weekend, which marks basically it marks the beginning of summer. All right. People are going to be, they're going to try to attempt to celebrate their summer, celebrate the 4th of July and all this madness that they try to celebrate. But the thing about it is, those days of just partying and bullshitting, because these people will try to attempt to do that this summer. They're going to party and bullshit. Meanwhile, what's happening right now, WW3 is about to be in full escalation, right? These Edomites they're going to do more and more false flags, right? We've seen what just happened with DJ Trump and his cabinet at that correspondence dinner at the White House, right? We all know that was set up. It was fake, but the masses, a lot of these people, they don't give a damn about that, man. They don't care that come December, because they're already getting ready for the draft. But they don't care. A lot of these people don't care that once December starts, they're going to this draft implementation that they're going to do is not going to be voluntary no more. It's going to be mandatory. So they're getting everything set up right now. You know what I'm saying? Gas prices, they're going to keep going up. Inflation, things are going to get more expensive. It's going to be a famine very soon. Scarcity of food, scarcity of water, scarcity of like utilities, the everyday things that the things that these Americans need is about to be depleted. The comfort, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai is about to take all the comfort away, right? These necessities that you Babylonians love and cherish, you know what I'm saying? Your Xbox 360, your PlayStations, your Starbuckses, your the women with their feminine products and stuff, like even the men with their manly products. But at the end of the day, like deodorant, these necessities that you Babylonians need, deodorant, tampons, shampoo, conditioner, soap, razors. When these things get taken away from you, not only will you smell, you'll see right now these Babylonians, they still have their comfort. They still have it. They can get up and they can go to work. You know what I'm saying? They can play these games, these dating games. It's like when the men and the men and the women, they in this generation that we live in, it's all games. You know what I'm saying? With the women play mind games with the men. The men get sick and tired of the women. The men say they're getting fed up and sick and tired of these women where they don't want to even date no more. They don't want to get married. And these women think that this is a game and they're going to continue to play these games, these mind games and mind tricks and all this shit, man. As all this shit is about to go out the window, man. All this shit, the fun and games, the excitement, the comfort, the ease, the serenity, the leisure, the deliciousness, the living deliciously, all that shit is about to go out the window, man. Like I said before, all the necessities that you Babylonians love and cherish is about to be depleted. The Lord is about to take all that shit away. You know what I'm saying? We're about to come into May. Look at how quick these, and that's what we're seeing. Everybody is talking about this. That's all you see on social media. TikTok, Instagram, they said, this is what they be saying. Is it me or is the days just going by so quick now? It feels like it's just hours and just minutes. You know, I get up and then the next thing, I'm back at home in the bed. It feels like it's just hours. Because see, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is speeding up these days and these hours and these weeks for our sakes. You know what I'm saying? The Lord said that the days will be shortened. So it's not all in your it's not all in your head. It's not in your imagination. This is what's happening. The Bible is real. Prophecies are real. This is what the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is doing. You wicked ass people keep playing with the Lord and thinking that the Lord is playing games. The Lord ain't playing no games. This is it. The end of Esau's rulership, right? The end of his society, the end of his economy, the end of his infrastructure is over. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is taking all these curses that he had on us and he's putting it on the heathen, especially Esau, Edom. Esau's women don't even want him no more, right? I seen a Jake a couple of days ago, Akim. I went to the store and stuff, and I just seen this Jake, and I seen him with a so-called white woman, right? I mean, we see it all the time and stuff, but like we starting to see it more and more and more now. The Edomite woman don't like the Edomite man no more. The Edomite woman is cleaving to the Israelite man now. All these heathen women are cleaving to Esau now. What's wrong with Eve? Eve is just gonna continue. The most of these N-dubs, they gonna fight into the death. Right? They rather die, but that's what's gonna happen. The 2/3 are gonna be destroyed. But the 2/3 of our people, especially the 2/3 of the women of Israel, they refuse to come under a man of the Lord, right? An Israelite man. They're gonna stay and be with Esau all the way into the end. They was buddies in the beginning, and they're gonna be buddies into the end. And that's a damn shame. But you know what? That's all good though. Because this is what we see. We see the Edomite woman, she's done with the Edomite man. She's getting sick and tired of the Edomite man, right? That's what we're seeing. These Edomite women they're cleaving more and more into the Israelite man. That's what we're seeing, right? Prophecies is being fulfilled. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua said it. Esau is the end of this world. It's the end of his rulership. It's the end of the age where Esau is on top. This is the end. This is the end. This is the end of the age of the Edomite. This is it, right? And as the days keep progressing, right, we're going to see continuously these Edomites fall. We're going to continuously see these Edomites get more depressed and more stressed out, more divided as a nation, right? The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is bringing division amongst the nation of Esau, Edom, Mount Seir, Idumea, right? They're doing everything sloppy, just like this false flag that happened at that correspondence dinner at the White House. That shit was sloppy, man. They keep saying, it's like, how did this dude get past like the White House, man? That building is that building is guarded to the T. That's one of the buildings in the whole entire world that it's hard to get access to through that building. But a guy got in there with a gun. How? At the White House? Come on, man. We all know the world knows that the Babylon knows that shit was fake. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to keep rambling on and on. Hey, Akim, we are at the end of this thing. We gotta hold on. We gotta stay strong. We gotta continue to endure. Because we at the end of this thing, and we want them crowns. We want them new bodies, man. This is what this camp is gonna be about. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai put it on my spirit. And the Lord had the Spirit jump on me to do this camp. And I'm gonna title this camp, The Israelites Will Be Celestial. When we receive those new bodies, Lord willing, we part of that number that we get beamed up in those chairs and we get changed instantly. Right? We're gonna be celestial, we're gonna be superhuman. We're gonna be immortal. That's what the scripture's saying. We're gonna prove it. We have many videos. We hear through the Spirit of Power, Yahweh Shem Shai, the elders, apostle, great Millstone, who the Lord set up. We have many videos to prove, and we have the right doctrine. Fuck all these naysayers, fuck all these scoffers and shit, man. The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai gonna destroy you scoffers and you naysayers and you wicked ass people that have come against the Lord's prophets, his servants, right? But we're gonna be celestial, we're gonna be immortal. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start out with this. I'm gonna read the definition for the word celestial, right? Because we here at Great Millstone, we don't play around. We go into words, we study the Hebrew, we study the Greek, we go into the root words, we go into the root etymology of words. We don't play around here, right? When we do these camp lessons, when we do these lessons, we get down to the rooter, to the tutor. Through the Spirit of Power, Yahweh Shem Shai, and the elders, apostle, great Millstone, the Lord set up. We don't play around here, okay? This is for the word celestial. I Google the word celestial. This is what it means. It says celestial. It says means relating to the sky, outer space, or heaven, often describing divine, spiritual, or exceptional beautiful things. It commonly refers to astronomical bodies, parentheses, stars, planets, or heavenly beings. Synonyms for the word celestial include heavenly, ethereal, angelic, divine. Because then once we keep Lord willing, Yahweh Tazah, once the Lord willing, Yahweh Tazah, we get beamed up in those chariots and we make it the first go around, we're going to be changed instantly, just like that. That's what the scriptures say in the New Testament. We're going to be changed. We're going to be transformed. We're going to have those angelic, immortal, incorruptible. Okay, we're not going to be in corruptible bodies anymore. Our bodies are going to be immortal, incorruptible. Okay, we're going to be in incorruptible bodies that last forever. We're going to prove that. So it says for synonyms for celestial, it says include heavenly, ethereal, angelic, divine, sublime, and otherworldly. Let's get a precept real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 40. Now, what I want to do, Akim, first I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians real quick. I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians, right? I want to go to 1 Corinthians. Let's go to 1 Corinthians in the New Testament. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. We're going to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. First Corinthians chapter 15, right? And this is what it says. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 40. And we're going to read down to verse 54, right? Now, let me read this real quick. This is in the New Testament. Because the Israelites, we're going to be celestial, incorruptible. Okay? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 40 to 54. It reads. It says this. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to start at verse 50. It reads this. It says, now in the New Testament, it says, now this I say, brethren, Now, if you go into that word brethren, it's talking about your own kinsmen according to the flesh. That's Romans, the 9th chapter. So you go into the word brother, it clearly tells you that it's not just talking about any brethren, like heathens can be our brother. No, this is talking about amongst your own people, your own kinsmen, according to the flesh, brethren. It says, now this is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 50. It says, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Okay, we can't go into the kingdom with these corruptible, decrepit, filthy, abominable bodies. We can't do that. If the kingdom of heaven is going to be beautiful and just spectacular, we got to go in there brand new. It says, verse 50 says, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Right? It says, verse 51, behold, I show you a mystery. Because this is a mystery. When you open up this book, right? And you got these wacky-tacky Christians that open up the book and they don't have no idea what's going on. This is a mystery. They can't get it. Even the 2/3 of our people can't get it. They can't get it unless the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai put it on your spirit to get it. This is only you're only able to get this mystery if the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai put it on your spirit to get it, and the Lord is dealing with you. This is verse 51. It says, "Behold, I show you a mystery," because this is a mystery. It says, "We shall not all sleep." That we, personal pronoun. This is talking about we of Israel. This is not talking about the we of everybody on the whole entire planet. This is talking about we, us, Israelites. It says, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed." Verse 52, "In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible." Right? It says, "And we shall be changed." Verse 53, "For this corruptible," right? Because we are in these corruptible ass bodies, these filthy, rotten, decrepit bodies, right? They're corruptible. It says, "For this corruptible must put on incorruption. And this mortal," because we are mortal, we're mortal men. We're mortal men. We bleed, we ache, we have pain. You know, this is what we have to go through as mortal men. It says, "For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality." Now, when these wacky-tacky Christians open up this book, especially to 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 53, when it says immortality, why can't they understand what that word means? When all you got to do is look up the word immortality. Right here in the New Century New Testament, it says by verse 52, I'm going to read it again. It says, "In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed." New Century Translation, New Century New Testament Translation, it says immortal. That incorruptible, in the New Century Translation, it says immortal. That's why verse 53, it says, "For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality." Immortality means you don't die, you live forever. That's what that means. Verse 54, it says, "So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory." When we get those new bodies, man, we're not going to die. We're going to live forever and ever and ever. We ain't gonna have to taste death no more. No more tears, no more sorrow, no more pain, no more anguish, no more depression, no more stress, no more tribulation, no more sadness. None of that. I'm gonna read it again. It says, verse 54, "So when this incorruptible shall put on when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory." right here in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 40, and the easy version translation, it reads this. Also, there are things up in the sky that are different from the things here on earth. Okay? It says, but this is verse 40. I'm going to read verse 40. It says, I'm going to read it in the King James Version first, then I'm going to read it in the easy version. It says this, 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 40. It says this, there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. See, we're not celestial yet. We're still terrestrial. We're on the land. We're in this earthly, decrepit, rotten body, terrestrial, right? I'm gonna read it again. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 4. It says this. It says there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. Now, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 40, and the easy version translation, this is what it reads. Also, there are things up in the sky that are different from the things here on earth. They have different bodies. Also, the things in the sky are beautiful in a different way from the things on earth. Right? Now, the title by verse 35, and this is in a different translation, but the title reads this. By verse 35, it says, this. The title reads, what kind of body will we have? What kind of body will we have? This is by verse 35, right? I'm going to read verse 35 too. It says this, but some man will say, how are the dead raised up, and with what body do they come? Right? Because just like what we read by 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 50 on down, right? When the dead get raised, they're going to be incorruptible. They're going to have those incorruptible, celestial, immortal bodies. In a twinkling of an eye, just like that. Right? It says, now this is by verse 44. I'm going to read verse 44. It says this. It says, I'm going to read verse 42 on down. It says this. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It is sown in corruption, right? It is raised in incorruption. Verse 43, it is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power. Verse 44, it is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. Right? Because then we read by verse 40, it says there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. We read it again in verse 44. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. It is a natural body, and there is a spiritual body. This is verse 44 in the Amplified version, 1 Corinthians 15 and 44. Amplified version, it says, it is sown a natural body, parentheses, mortal, suited to earth. It is raised a spiritual body, parentheses, immortal, suited to heaven. As surely as there is a physical body, there is also a spiritual body. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Let's go to Isaiah 65. This is Isaiah, Isaiah 65. This is Isaiah 65. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This is Isaiah 65, right? Showing you too that we're going to have spiritual bodies because of, but the thing about it is this: these wacky tacky Christians, they don't go into the prophecies. The prophecies are very important. Just like what we just read a prophecy right there in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. We're about to read a prophecy again in Isaiah. This prophecy haven't come to pass yet, but it will. This is a prophecy, what we're about to read out the Bible. This is Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 17. Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 17. It reads, and this is Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17 to 23, right? I'm going to start reading. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17 to 23. It reads, now in the ERV and Akim, I'm going to read out this translation too. I brought this one to camp. We're going to read out this one too. This is the ERV translation. This translation go hard too, but I'm gonna go into this to prove even more points too. Okay, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, now this is Isaiah chapter 65 verse 17 on down. It reads, now in the ERV the title reads by verse 17, in Isaiah 65 by verse 17 in the ERV the title reads it says a new time is coming. A new time is coming. This is Isaiah chapter 65 verse 17. It reads, this is the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai speaking. It says, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth. The Lord is going to refresh this earth. But before the Lord refresh this earth, the Lord is going to destroy this present age, this present kingdom of the heathen, right? Everything has to be destroyed. The Lord is going to destroy Babylon, America with ICBM nuclear missiles, right? This place has to be refreshed, renewed. It says, verse 17, for behold, I create a new heavens. I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. Verse 18, but be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, us, Israel, a rejoicing, and her people a joy. Verse 19, I will rejoice in Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, and joy in my people. The Lord's people is who? We just read it. Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, Yasharallah, us, the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, the Lord's people. And I will rejoice in Yerushalayim and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. Verse 20, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. Verse 21, and they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. Right? This is the kingdom. And the kingdom is going to be on earth. That's like the Lord's prayer. Yahweh B'Shem Shai's prayer. It says on earth as it is in heaven. Which also proves that the earth is not going to be completely destroyed. Okay? It says, verse 22, and they shall not build and other inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat, for as the days of a tree are the days of my people. Who's the Lord's people? Israel. And my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. Right? The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai clearly said right here, the Lord said that his people, we're going to be living as long as trees live. And we know we got many videos to prove this particular verse right here, right? I did a video a couple of months ago on the world's oldest tree. Okay? That's how the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai said, my people are going to live as long as trees live. And we know that there are trees on this earth now that are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. And they're still living. I'm going to read this one real quick. This is Isaiah 65, verse 20. And it reads, and this is in the Living Bible. Isaiah chapter 65, verse 20 in the Living Bible, it reads, No longer will babies die when only a few days old. That shows you that it's going, not only is going to be sex in the kingdom, but it's going to be birth in the kingdom. We're reading this out the Bible. This is Isaiah chapter 65 verse 20. In the Living Bible translation, it reads, no longer will babies die when only a few days old. No longer will men be considered old at 100. See, in this day and age, when a person is 100 years old, they consider old, they could decrepit, they ain't got their teeth no more, they walking and shit with a damn stroller, a cane and shit, and you know what I'm saying? The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua said right here in Isaiah chapter 65 verse 20 in the Living Bible, it says, no longer will babies die when only a few days old. No longer will men be considered old at 100. That's going to be considered young. It says only sinners will die that young. See, because all these other heathen ass nations, they're not going to have the blessings that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to give to his people, which is eternal life. We're going to be immortal. All these heathen ass nations, they're going to be in the kingdom, but they're not going to be immortal like us. They ain't going to be celestial like us. Only the Lord's people, us. They gon' still die, but not the Israelites. It says, I want to go back to that. I want to read 2 Corinthians now. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 in the New Testament. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1 to 4, right? The New Living Translation reads, new bodies. Just like what we read in 1 Corinthians, right? We're reading it in the New Testament in 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter in the New Living Translation. The title reads, new bodies. We're going to be receiving those new bodies. Okay? The Israelites. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 1 to 4, and it reads, for we know that if our earthly house, right, of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of Yahweh, an house not made with hands, eternal, right, in the heavens, right? Now in the NIV to 2 Corinthians, the title reads, awaiting the new body. This is what we're waiting for. This is one of the things we're waiting for. The first thing we're waiting on is that our big brother, Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, come back and save us and bring salvation to us and deliver us and destroy our enemies and set up the kingdom to come. I'm going to read that one again in the NIV, 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter. The title reads, awaiting the new body. Verse 2, it says, for this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven. We're yearning. We're praying to the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, come back quickly, save us. We want to be in the kingdom. We want to be in the kingdom, so we want to have those new bodies. So we won't have no more pain and no more anguish and no more stress and depression no more. Verse 2, it says, for this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house which is from heaven. Verse 3, if so be that being clothed we shall not be found naked. Verse 4, for we that are in this tabernacle, this body that we in now, it says do groan. Every time we get up in the morning, our bodies are aching, we're groaning, we're sad. It's like these bodies are all messed up. Verse 4, it says this, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, clothed, but not clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up. Let me read it again. Verse 4, it says, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Now, in the expanded version translation, okay, expanded version translation. Okay, that's what, yeah, matter of fact, you know what, I'm going to just keep to that right there. But that's what but I'm going to read that one again. It says, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 4, it says this, for we that are in this tabernacle do groan, being burdened, not for that we would be unclothed, but clothed upon, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. Right? These mortal bodies are just destroying us, man. These mortal bodies are they're decrepit. They're just destroying us, you know. We can't continue to keep living like this, man. It has to be. We know that is way we know that is something waiting for us beyond. I mean, we know that something is waiting on this. This is not the end all be all. We just gonna die and everything. No, man, it's like the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai got a special gift waiting for us. We just gotta wait and endure. Now let's read this is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 2. In the Amplified version it says, for indeed in this house we groan, longing to be clothed with our parentheses, immortal, eternal, celestial dwelling. Remember right here in 2 Corinthians, the fifth chapter in the NLT, the title reads New Bodies. Also in the NIV, the title reads Awaiting the New Body. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 2 in Amplified version. It says this, for indeed in this house, these bodies that we're in now, it says we groan day and night, night and day, longing to be clothed with our parentheses, immortal, eternal, celestial dwelling. Let's go to John chapter 3 and verse 12. John chapter 3 and verse 12. This is John chapter 3 and verse 12. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. This is John chapter 3 and verse 12. It reads, and this is Yahweh Shai speaking right here. This is John chapter 3 and verse 12. It reads, if I told you, it says this. It says, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. If I told you earthly things and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things? Yahweh Shai was even telling our people back then. Even when we tell the 2/3 of our people now, it's like, you know, we're going to have spiritual bodies. We're going to be superhuman. We're going to live forever. You know, when we telling these things, they don't even believe us. It's like, man, you guys are crazy. You guys are twisting the scriptures. No, we ain't. Yahweh Shai was telling our people this back then, and we telling our people this present day. If you can't, if you know, 2/3 of our people can't even understand the earthly things, how can they understand the spiritual things, the heavenly things? Yahweh Shai is saying this. It says this. I'm gonna read it again. John chapter 3 verse 12. If I have told you earthly things and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things? This right here is in John chapter 3 verse 12 in the Voice translation. It reads, if you do not believe when I talk to you about ordinary earthly realities, then heavenly realities will certainly elude you. And that word elude means fail to understand. Right? The majority of our people don't even believe in reincarnation. It's in the scriptures. Reincarnation is biblical. Right? They can't even understand the simple thing, how those Gentiles that is talking about in the New Testament, those are Israelite foreigners. They can't even understand that. So how can they, I mean, just the earthly things, how can they, and Yahushua was saying this, how can they understand? How can you, if you don't understand the earthly things, how can you understand the heavenly things? This is, I'm going to read it again. John chapter 3 and verse 12. In the Voice translation, it says, if you do not believe when I talk to you about ordinary earthly realities, then heavenly realities will certainly elude you. And like I said, that word elude means fail to understand. They can't understand. You can't understand the simple earthly things. How can you understand the heavenly spiritual things? Because the Lord didn't reveal that to them, right? This is let's go to 1 John 3 and 2. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. 1 John 3 and 2. This is 1 John 3 and 2. This is 1 John 3 and 2. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. It says, this is 1 John 3 and 2. It says this, beloved. Now, this is 1 John 3 and 2. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and we know who the sons of God are. We are the sons of God, the children of Israel. We're the men of Israel. We're the sons of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? And we got many lessons to prove that. We're just going to stay on the topic. 1 John 3 and 2, it says, beloved, now are we the sons of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, who shall appear? Our big brother, Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. It says, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him. For we shall see him as he is. Once Yahweh Shai Hamashiach break those clouds and come back, all eyes are going to see. You know what I'm saying? They're going to truly see. Okay? This is 1 John 3 and 2, easy version translation. It reads, my friends, we are already children of God. We do not yet know clearly what we will become. But we do know this: when Hamashiach returns to this world, we will become like him. We're going to be angelic, just like our big brother, Yahweh Shai. Immortal. It says, but we do know this: when Hamashiach returns to this world, which is going to be very soon, when Hamashiach returns to this world, we will become like him. We will be like him because we will see him as he really is. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. This is Isaiah chapter 47. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 3. And it reads, it says this: thy nakedness shall be uncovered. This is a prophecy. Okay? Now, the title reads right here, it says prediction of Babylon's fall. Right? Which is America. Right? It says, Isaiah 47 and 3, it says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance. So Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to come back with vengeance, wrath, fury. It says, I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. The Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach is not coming back as like a mere mortal man. Just like what we read in 1 John. Just like what we just read in 1 John. When Yahweh Shai cracked them clouds, right? He's going to be a mortal angelic being. Immortal angelic being, right? And he's not coming back as a mere mortal man. He's coming back as an angelic power. This is, let me read it again. Isaiah 47 and 3. But this time I'm going to read this in the ISV, International Standard Version. It says this: I will take vengeance and I will spare no mortal. That shows you that the people on the earth, they're mortal. He's telling you that, look, I'm not going to spare no mortal men. All these wicked ass, mortal ass men, I ain't sparing them. Isaiah 47:3, ISV, it says, I'll take vengeance and I will spare no mortal. In the Orthodox Jewish Bible translation, it reads, I will take vengeance and I will not be as Adam, right? When I meet thee, right? Now we just keep that in mind because he just brought up Adam in the Orthodox Jewish Bible translation. Okay? Yahushua Mashiach. He's coming back as a mortal angelic being, a mortal angelic power. Isaiah 47:3. In the Orthodox Jewish Bible translation, it says, I will take vengeance and will not be as Adam when I meet thee, right? So let's keep Adam in mind, right? We showed you reincarnation, but we have many videos to prove that. We just sticking to the topic. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 45. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 45. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. It reads this. 1 Corinthians 15 and 45. It reads, And so it is written, the first man, Adam, remember we just read that in Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 3 in the Orthodox Jewish Bible translation. The Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai said he's not coming back as a mortal, he's not coming back. What does it say? Isaiah 47 and 3, OGB. It says, I will take vengeance and will not be as Adam, right? When I meet thee. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 45, it says, and so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul, right? The last Adam was made a quickening spirit. Who is that talking about? The last Adam, a quickening spirit? And we not only we've proven reincarnation, right? We've proven that Yahushua was Adam that's reincarnation right there. He was Adam. Okay? Because and how do we know? Because we're going to read it real quick in 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 45 in the New Living Translation. It says, the scriptures tell us, the Bible, it says, the scriptures tell us the first man, Adam, became a living person. But the last Adam, that is what it says Christ, but is Hamashiach. We're reading this out the Bible. It says the first man, Adam, became a living person, but the last Adam, that is Hamashiach, is a life-giving spirit. 1 Corinthians 15 and 44, the New Life Version translation, right? 1 Corinthians 15 and 44, the New Life translation, when it says this, it says, I'm reading the King James Version, it says, it is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body, right? 1 Corinthians 15 and 44, the New Life Version translation, it reads, it is a human body when it dies, but it is a God-like body when it is raised from the dead. There are human bodies and there are God-like bodies. All praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, hallelujah. This is in the Living Bible translation, 1 Corinthians 15 and 44. It says this: there are just human bodies. There are just human bodies at death, but when they come back to life, they will be superhuman bodies. I got to read that one again. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 44. New Life Version translation. It says, it is a human body when it dies, but it is a godlike body when it is raised from the dead. There are human bodies and there are godlike bodies. The Living Bible translation, 1 Corinthians 15 and 44, it reads, they are just human bodies at death. But when they come back to life, they will be superhuman bodies. This is in the scriptures. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, we're going to read it again. Matter of fact, you know what? No, let's read, let's go to, let's go to, let's go to, let's go to 1 Thessalonians. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians 4 and 15. 1 Thessalonians. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 15. First Thessalonians 1 Thessalonians 4 1 Thessalonians 4:15. 1 Thessalonians 4 1 Thessalonians 4 and 15. And we're going to read down to verse 17. First Thessalonians chapter 4. But if I'm going to start at verse 13. In the New Living Translation, by 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 13, in the New Living Translation, the title reads, The Hope of the Resurrection. Right? It says this. 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 13, it reads, and by verse 11 to 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, it says, the dead in Hamashiach shall rise. And we just pulled all of that. When the dead shall rise, they're going to have those incorruptible bodies. I mean, Slakia. Slakia. They're going to have, when the dead is risen, when the Lord Yahweh Shai raised the dead, they're going to be incorruptible. They're going to have those incorruptible, immortal bodies, right? In the twinkling of an eye, just like we read in Corinthians, right? This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13. I'm going to read down. It says, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren. Just like what we read at the beginning of the camp, we're going to that word, brethren. It's talking about your own kinsmen, according to the flesh. This is talking about the brethren of Israel. It says, but I would not have you be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep, that ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. Verse 14. For if we believe that Yahweh Shai died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Yahweh Shai will Yahweh bring with him. Verse 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai shall not prevent them which are asleep. Verse 16. For the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Hamashiach shall rise first. Reading this, man, out the scriptures. It says, verse 17, Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds in those chariots to meet the Lord. See, we're going to meet the Lord up in the earth in those chariots, and we're going to come right back down to the earth. And after that, after we get those new bodies, that's when it begins. The kingdom begins. We're going to be beamed up in those chariots. Lord willing, I'm part of that number that get beamed up in those chariots. Come right back down with those immortal, celestial, incorruptible bodies. It says, verse 15, then which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord. See, we're going to meet the Lord up in those chariots, and we're going to come right back down on the earth to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we be, and so shall we ever be with the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? Because then after we get beamed to those chariots and we come back down, that's it. We're going to be with our Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and we're going to be together. We're going to be in perfect harmony with our power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, forever. Forever. And that's what we're waiting on. And then it's just a comfort. It says, verse 18, wherefore comfort one another with these words. This is what we're doing. We're comforting the Akim, all of us Akim. It's just comfort for us to know that these things are going to take place very soon. And we have the faith and the hope. The faith and the hope that the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has given to us. That's a blessing, and that's a gift. Faith. Knowing that this is going to take place, it's going to happen. Okay? No more dying, no more pain, no more sorrow, no more hardship, no more crying and sighing and mourning. No more having to get up every morning worrying about, oh man, what bill do I have to pay this time? And then the second you pay the bill, a week later, they talk about you got to pay another bill. We ain't gonna have to worry about no more. We ain't gonna have to worry about paying no bills and getting up in the morning and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Going working for this damn devil Esau. Going to the plantation, being around these Edomites, not being in our own land, living in safety and in peace and harmony. All 12 tribes of Israel, our people, together in perfect harmony and happiness and unison. Happy, togetherness. We getting sick and tired of this kingdom, man, of the heathen. You know what I'm saying? The wickedness of our people on this side. They want to say this devil Esau Edom. You know, the 2/3 of our people refuse to come back to the Heavenly Father. They refuse to repent. They refuse to humble down. See, this is what we waiting on. We waiting on the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to come back and destroy this kingdom of the heathen, to destroy the 2/3, to destroy Esau Edom, right? This is what we waiting on, man. We are earnestly waiting for the Lord. Matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna end off on that. Go to Isaiah 63. This is what we waiting on right here. The men of the Lord, us, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and the elders, apostles, great millstone the Lord set up. This is what we waiting on. I'm gonna read it out the scriptures. We waiting on the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to destroy this kingdom of these damn devils, man. This is Isaiah 63. This is a prophecy. It says, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Right? Verse 2. Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat? It says, verse 3. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is coming back to stomp a mud hole in these damn devils' asses. All these heathen ass nations, especially Esau Edom. Verse 3, it says, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Verse 4, here's the kicker. For the day of vengeance is in my heart. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the Lord can't wait. Yahweh Shai Mashiach, he's coming back with vengeance. It says, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Okay? And there you go. This is what we waiting on, man. The main event. It's about to go down. But we got to continue to endure and be patient and keep the faith. So I'm going to wrap it up, Akim. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles and the righteous men of great Millstone who teach us this truth and righteousness and sincerity and brotherly love. Let's stay strong, Akim. Let's keep the faith and continue to endure all the way into the end through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? Until the next camp. Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.